Welcome back to Tonight in San Diego. We want to thank our live studio audience here at the Jeffrey Theater for coming out and supporting us. Give it up for yourselves, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. We got some prizes to give away to our audience tonight. Like we got these couple tickets to see Fishbone and the Agrolites at the Belly Up Tavern in Solana Beach. If you want to win prizes like this, just get your tickets to Tonight in San Diego at tonightinsandiego.com or go on social media and hashtag us Tonight in San Diego. Hey, our next guest is a very exciting guest. We have one of the co-creators of Gigtown. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andy Altman. Thank you for coming on the show, Andy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's a nice, is that a ukulele?
That is, yeah.
That has been signed.
Yeah, there's lots of stories on it now.
Is there? That's terrific.
Picked it up a couple years ago.
That's almost like your that's your logo, almost, the ukulele. Now.
That is actually, and yeah.
So you are one of the co-creators of Gigtown. You created it with your pop, right?
Yes.
You and your dad created Gigtown. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
My dad and I have always wanted to start up a company together, and we have a long list of ideas that we've chatted about over the years, and we got really good at, I would call him up and say, hey, how about this? And he'd quickly be like, that's a horrible idea. And then sometimes he'd call me up and I'd do the same thing for him. And then one day I got home from Coachella in 2014 and called him up and the same thing, just started bouncing around a couple of ideas. My parents put on a fundraiser every year called Rock the Cure. I have type 1 diabetes. It runs in the family.
Okay.
And so as part of that fundraiser, they book big name bands and they book a bunch of local acts to open things up and close out the party. And so my dad asked the question, if I wanted to get a pianist to come over to the house and play some piano while I'm hanging out with my friends tonight, what would I do?
Yeah.
And we realized that you couldn't really do it. No one knows how, in general, your average person doesn't know how to hire a musician. And they don't really think about it because they assume that it's something that's really complicated, expensive, and time-consuming.
Sure.
And it doesn't have to be. We sort of thought of it as let's Uberize music. Make it something that you're throwing a little party, you're having a couple people over to hang out.
Yeah.
In the same line of thought as, okay, what are we going to eat and drink? Let's get a musician to come over, and it always makes it that much better.
Right. And so I do stand-up comedy. Yeah. And I could use something like that, Gigtown. Yeah. And the ironic thing is, most stand-up comics are also Uber drivers. So kind of two birds, one stone right there, Tell me, how do you become a part of Gigtown? How does
you just sign up. It's free for artists. Basically, they sign up. They put up a photo, a video, a song, and some bio information.
Does it have to be you in the photo or video, or could I put up like the beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, and maybe get on there with that?
If you are beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, that might work.
Yeah, I have a lot of videos of beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. That's funny that you and your dad are so close that you could create a company together.
We have a really awesome love-hate relationship. I love him, and we argue a lot, and people kind of get concerned sometimes. And we're like, no, we're cool. This is just how we talk.
Most people just talk like sports with their dad. It's like uncomfortable. And you're like, I just got back from Coachella. Let's do a thing. That's a cool dad, right? So you have done a lot for the San Diego music community. You got over 1,000 artists now signed up?
Yeah, it's really awesome. There's a ton of amazing talent in San Diego, and a lot of people just don't really know about it. And that was one of our premises from the start. We see some of these local acts that have opened up that fundraiser, and just going around, you walk into a restaurant or bar and hear somebody amazing playing, and you walk out, and that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah.
And so, with Gigtown now, there's a way to kind of connect and stay connected to those guys. And with 1,000 of them signed up, and when we say an artist, that could be a soloist, that could be the San Diego State Marching Band is signed up, which is, I don't even know how many people are part of that.
The whole marching band?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So if you want, you can book them to, come on Tonight in San Diego.
Okay. We got to sign up for Gigtown. We'll do that.
So it's really bringing the local music community together in a lot of cool ways.
What is the fastest that you have booked an artist on Gigtown?
The record is 45 minutes. I was at a restaurant in Carlsbad, and I was actually hanging out with some people that write for Fortune magazine.
Okay.
So I was like, I had already told them about Gigtown, of course, and I decided I'm gonna try to impress them.
Yeah,
and
totally.
So I told them, like, I could try to get somebody here by the time we're having dessert, and they're sort of like, yeah, okay. So I went for it. The way it works is you go on the app or website, you post the gig. So you say, in my case, I said, I'll pay you $150. I want somebody here ASAP. Some acoustic covers would be fun. And I wrote in that, I said, we're at a restaurant in Carlsbad. I have not cleared it with the restaurant. I don't know if they'll be cool with it. Just come and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So I posted it. It notifies all the artists that fit your criteria. So within a couple of minutes, I had a couple of responses, and I checked out the video of this guy, Wayne D, and he sounded pretty good. And I was like, all right, confirm. And he's like, all right, I'm downtown. I'll be there as soon as I can. He starts driving up. He gets there in 40, 45 minutes.
Wow.
He starts bringing his sound equipment into the restaurant. They're totally not cool with it. They're like, absolutely not. This guy is not going to plug in and play amplified music here. And I was like begging and pleading with them, like, guys, I'm with these writers. Like, I'm trying to do something here.
With Forbes magazine, help me out, yeah.
And they're like, no way. Finally, and the Wayne D too. He's like, I want to play. Like, let me play. And finally, they're like, okay, he can play, but it has to be unplugged. He's not going to hook in.
Okay.
So it was awesome. He sits down at the table. I busted out my ukulele because I literally always have it with me. And he starts playing Sweet Home Alabama. We're at a table with like 15 people. Everybody starts just belting it out. It's way loud. Their whole concern was you're going to disrupt, the customers.
Yeah.
We totally disrupted the customers.
It disrupted the customer. And they like that.
That was great.
So that is like Uber. That's like the music on delivery, basically. You could just do that, and I could get like...
It doesn't always work like that. I mean, that's not the typical use case, but it's doable. We have this network now, and
do you see like music, like on Uber or whatever? Do you see the music, like a little guitar, like it's 3 minutes away?
That's pretty much how it is. There's just all these musicians that are always, in their cars. No, I wish, but
Well, is there like a music lift that you guys are mad at or something, like a competitor or something?
Not really. I mean,
that's good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really approached it quite the way we have.
Okay.
And, there's a lot.
I'm going to start one then for cheap gigs. Cheaper gigs, because I usually, when I meet with people, they work for like OK Magazine, and that's what I'm going for. I want to get like some cheap, I got to perform at a Salvation Army tomorrow. Like, here, hit it up. So I wanted to ask you this. Speaking of fast, because you booked that thing in like 45 minutes. Speaking of fast, you actually did a collaboration with Twista, the rapper. Does anybody know the rapper Twista? So it used to be called Tongue Twister. I think he won the Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest rapper on Earth. You actually got to perform with him?
I was just, so this was South by Southwest. It was 3 months after we had launched Gigtown. So it was, we were still only on iOS. We didn't know what we were doing. And I was like, I know South by Southwest is this big music thing. I got to go check it out and see what it is. So I'm out there with a couple of friends, really. And I'm just wearing Gigtown swag around and talking to anybody I can talk with. And I have this ukulele with me. And that, I picked up the ukulele about 3 days before we launched Gigtown. I was like, I can't try to run this company and not actually play any instrument. And so
I see.
I didn't really know what I was doing. I just had these like 4 chords that I was learning, and I was getting decent enough at them. So I was strumming around pretty fast at that point, like on the streets of Austin.
And you were like, how do I identify with these musicians? Let me pick up something they're into, like the ukulele. Everybody rocks out the ukulele.
Everybody should, anyways.
Totally.
But yeah, I'm just like playing these 4 chords really fast, and then all of a sudden this guy comes up and is just rapping and just flowing with it, and I didn't know what was happening. I just kept going, and all my friends try to take a video, and he has like this posse that like put cameras down, and then they're like, what's going on? And it's Twisted, and then he tries to shove $3 bills into my, like, he's like, here, like tipping me. Like, I don't even know how to play this thing. And I'm like, I'm good, thanks, Twista. And then he like shoved it into my pocket, and so it's first money I ever
made. Paid gig, huh? That's nice. Paid gig. Those are the kind of gigs I get, the $3 gig province ones. Those are the ones I got. So now that it's not a prop now. You can actually play the ukulele.
A little bit. I mean,
can we hear a little something on the ukulele? I see it signed by. You have it signed by Bill Walton. That's amazing. Bill
Walton. It's just I just collect stories with this thing. Like there's a crack here from like the first time I had it. I took it on a family trip. This was the first day I had it. I'm taking it on a plane to Colorado. My parents who were in the audience were like, "What are you doing? You don't know what that thing even is." And I just, I started figuring it out, and I got Bill Walton signed it. I wrote a song for him, actually. I was out at his house one time.
Bill Walton, very gigantic basketball player, if anybody doesn't know. What is the song for Bill Walton?
Oh, it's just talking about how awesome he is, basically.
How awesome he is.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first line is something like, Bill Walton is the coolest person ever. I want this night to last forever. It's just and that's kind of how my songwriting goes. I'm not a real
So you
musician.
just pander, basically. You pander.
Pretty much.
You're like, oh, Twister, I love you.
You're the best Twister.
Can I get $3, Twister? That's a good gig. And I also noticed that you have like an obsession with orange. Everything's orange. You got an orange logo.
Yeah, I've always
Gigtown's
had
orange.
this thing with the color orange, and I don't really have a good reason for it other than it makes me happy.
That's the best reason in the world.
I think it
That's
works.
probably the same reason you got a ukulele, right?
That's actually exactly the
That is
reason.
fantastic. So where can we find out more about Gigtown?
Go to gigtown.com. You know, if you're ever looking to hire a musician, you're throwing an event, or you're not throwing an event and want to just have a cool night, see what happens.
I'm going to go on there. I'm going to pretend to be a musician, get some gigs.
There you go.
So, thank you so much, man.
you.
Appreciate it. Andy Altman, everybody. Let's hear it for him. Check out gigtown.com. We'll be right back right after this. Stick around tonight in San Diego. That was fun, man. I want to hear some.